Help. I'm 18/F being hit on by my best friend's dad. 50s?M. My best friend's dad keeps hitting on me. He makes comments about how pretty I am and my outfits and makes sexual jokes a lot. I'm uncomfortable anytime I'm in a room with him without my best friend. I don't know what to do and I'm scared my best friend will hate me. At first I just thought he was being funny, but as the comments get more and more frequent and questionable, I don't want to go around him anymore. I love my best friend and love going to her house to get away from my own family. I don't want to lose my best friend over this, but I'm scared if I say something and I'm scared if I don't it'll just continue. Too long didn't read. My best friend's dad is hitting on me and I'd what to do. Please help. I don't think you need to be as detailed with your response as others are saying. I think you should tell your best friend politely, "Hey, your father keeps making weird comments about me, could you please tell him to stop?" More often than not, this will be really embarrassing for her. She will get angry with her father and tell him to lay off. You either do this, confront her dad directly, or don't go to her house. I think my option is pretty good. Trust your best friend to be your best friend. Be vocal. Be very vocal when your friend is there. Don't be alone with him. Follow your friend, and if she asks what's going on, you can tell her. Be strong and tell him loudly to stop sexualizing you. Stop being a creep. Say whatever you have to say loudly and do not let anything he says slide. Be safe. If it doesn't work, stop going there. Just ask your friend to your house instead and again explain why. Maybe you can record him and then show her. Remember that being polite is what creeps use to manipulate others. Stop being polite. Stop going to her house. Stop being around him, period. He is pushing boundaries and will continue to push them. It's not safe. I don't see why you should be in the same room as this man without your friend. I wouldn't go there anymore. BC, he is trying to test your boundaries and might want to escalate it if he sees you keep going there and tolerating this behavior. Oh, my dad said the same thing to your daughter the other day. Ha ha. My partner, 35M, and I, 28F, disagree about how much time we should spend together. This is a silly problem, but I want a third party to tell me if I'm being insane. I started dating Jack in July, after being close friends for a year. We're in graduate school in a major city, and we both led busy lives before the pandemic. Now, however, I have a ton of free time, and I want to spend time with him. In previous relationships, I've spent a lot of time with the other person in the first few months, like 3+ times a week. It was exciting and fun and easy. It hasn't been like that with Jack. He left to go on summer holidays right after we started dating and came back 10 weeks later. Since he's been back, I initiate 80% of our hangouts, and when I ask when he's free, he gives me a date 1 week out. He says that he's an only child and he likes having alone time, and that his ideal is to hang out every 10 days. This is causing a lot of tension because I want to hang out more and I'm getting rejected regularly. Every planning discussion becomes a fight now, which is just compounding the problem. Is hanging out every 10 days normal in a new relationship? Am I being unreasonable for wanting to hang out more? I interpret his resistance as a sign he doesn't like me, but maybe we're just incompatible. TLDR, new partner wants to hang out significantly less than I do. How can we find a happy medium? This is abnormal. Even if it was normal, which it ain't, you don't like it, so I accept it. I'm an only child and a big ole introvert and love my alone time. However, if I'm into someone, I will make time to see them. The only time I kept someone at arm's length is when I wasn't sure about them but strung them along to see where the relationship went. I don't do that anymore. I have matured. It honestly sounds like you're incompatible. Sounds like he just wants to have control and call all of the shots. since you always want to hang out and are waiting on his response. Maybe he really is a solitary person, but in that case, it doesn't sound like you two would have a fulfilling relationship. I could never be with someone who wouldn't want to hang out at least like twice a week. Of course, this is assuming their work schedule and so on allows it. Frankly, I don't think I could date someone whose job was so demanding they could only hang out once a week or once every 10 days like Jack. Regardless of the why, that just wouldn't meet my needs. I'm not sure focusing on what's normal is so relevant. I think you got it right by saying you might be incompatible. Want to hang out with a partner often, which is a common desire and something you experienced in previous relationships. There are plenty of men who might feel the same, but your BF is not one of them. Some people just prefer to be alone, and it might not be any reflection on whether he likes you, but rather that he prefer to have a lot more alone time than you'd be happy with in a relationship. When I started dating my now fiancée, she was only available every 2 weeks or so due to work. And that was fine, because that was the time she had to offer, and it was for a specific period of a few months. If instead she had said she only wanted to see me every 2 weeks while being available more often, that would have been a huge issue for me. Find someone who's as excited to see you as you are to see them. This guy ain't him. Desire for shared time is a category of compatibility, no different than, say, sexual compatibility. Some people like to be together 24/7 and others are happy with seeing each other on the weekends and otherwise doing their own thing during the busy work week. There's a whole spectrum in between, as well. In my opinion, it's extremely important to find someone at the same point on the spectrum, or at least in the same range as you. If you cannot agree on shared time, then you're always going to be swimming upstream to make the relationship work. My 23F new boyfriend, 25 meters, struggles to take responsibility for anything bad that happens in our relationship. Hey everyone, just looking for some advice. Sorry for the long post. I got into this new relationship not long ago. We met about 2 months ago, and although I told him I wanted to take things slowly, before I knew it I was his girlfriend, and not long after that he was telling me he loved me. It's been about 4 months since my last boyfriend finally ended things with me, but in reality we hadn't been together since March. It was an unhealthy, toxic relationship. He was an addict and incredibly emotionally unavailable. The boyfriend I had before that was emotionally and sometimes physically abusive to me. I have had and am still having therapy to try to heal from these relationships. The new guy I am seeing was at first a breath of fresh air. We are well matched intellectually and like to talk a lot. We like similar things. We respect each other, he listens to me, and he is very emotionally available, almost a little too much. I felt so close to him that I confided in him about my past relationships, but I have learned my lesson not to do that again. Some of the people who have helped me have said don't tell new love interests about your past. I really didn't intend to on this occasion, but I feel like it's difficult when you're trying to get to know someone to not tell them about your life. The problem is that he has really latched onto the fact that I have been hurt in the past. He seems to see me as this really damaged person, and every time we fall out he seems to think that it's not about him, it's about something one of my exes did. I'm well aware that I have some baggage, but oftentimes he just does something to annoy me, and it's not about anybody else or any other relationship. He seems to have this view of himself as this perfect guy, and he finds it difficult to take responsibility when he's done something to upset me. He likes to just blame it on the fact that my ex-boyfriends have treated me badly. As an example, we fell out a few weeks ago because he was being flippant and insulting a lot of the things that I like: TV, books, music. He seems to feel like everything he likes is superior. I called him out and told him that upset me, and he seemed to think it wasn't really anything to do with him, it was about my ex-boyfriend. I'm finding this really difficult to deal with because it invalidates everything I say and basically absolve him of any blame. When I try and discuss this with him, He listens, but I think he still believes that it's never about him. Regardless of the whole ex-boyfriend thing, he seems to find it really difficult to accept any blame in any situation, whereas I am quite happy to apologize as soon as I know that I've upset him. I've tried to talk to him about it and he just acts really wounded and hurt. Do I need to be worried? Is this red flag behavior? Am I being out of order? There's a couple of other weird things he does which I'd like to add here. He seems like he is acting a lot of the time. Does anyone remember Jughead's "I'm a weirdo" speech in Riverdale? He hits me with that sort of thing quite a bit. Basically monologuing, telling me he'll never be ordinary and that his ex-girlfriend dumped him because she was intimidated by how much of an amazing person he is. Too long didn't read. Every time I argue with my new boyfriend, he thinks it's about my unhealthy past relationships and never that he has actually done something hurtful. This guy seems to like emphasizing the narrative where you're broken because it allows him to see himself as the savior who will fix you. His love of you is about himself and his own self-image, which is why it all happened so fast. It also means he sees you as someone who needs to change according to what he wants, which is worrying. I don't think this is the right relationship for you. Too many red flags for such a new relationship. It seems you had a bad luck running into another person who's not right for you. I think this guy has some narcissistic traits and you telling him about your past gave him the perfect answer for every concern you have. Let's count the red flags. Although I told him I wanted to take things slowly, before I knew it I was his girlfriend and not long after that he was telling me he loved me. This should have made you run away. This is not romantic or sweet or cute, it's fucking creepy, unrealistic and unstable. He seems to see me as this really damaged person and every time we fall out he seems to think that it's not about him, it's about something one of my exes did. Someone who cares for you won't see you as damaged. The idea of damaged people is a product of romanticized representation of someone's past. These people are seen as fucked up emotionally, like they need saving or something. That's bullshit and anyone who treats you like this should be kicked to the curb. He seems to have this view of himself as this perfect guy and he finds it difficult to take responsibility when he's done something to upset me. He likes to just blame it on the fact that my ex-boyfriends have treated me badly. Narcissistic behavior, refuses to take responsibility, I'm guessing never apologizes. He was being flippant and insulting a lot of the things that I like: TV, books, music. He seems to feel like everything he likes is superior. He thinks he's better than you. I've tried to talk to him about it and he just acts really wounded and hurt. So what if he acts hurt? You raised a valid concern and he played the victim instead of listening. The very fact that after 2 months of relationship you're phrasing the situation as anything bad that happens in our relationship is a red flag. 2 months long relationship shouldn't have anything bad happening, let alone all the things you listed. He love bombed you, just like an abuser. He frames everything that goes wrong as your fault, just like an abuser. He blames his ex for the end of his last relationship, just like an abuser. He invalidates everything you say, just like an abuser. This is red flag behavior. Congratulations, you are dating someone who seems to have narcissistic traits. These people can seem like a breath of fresh air after having dealt with outright abuse from past partners, but usually they are love bombing and fast forwarding intimacy in the relationship to get you hooked. He is now slowly whittling away your trust in yourself and your self-esteem. Listen to your gut, it's telling you something very important. I'm afraid your new relationship is also unhealthy, and it is not because you shared your past with him, it is just that he is the kinds of person who seeks excuses for their behavior instead of trying to do better. You can start and try to work through this if you want to. You will have to establish your boundaries and then enforce them repeatedly. It will get old and it will be exhausting at times. He may get better off or he may not.